Hello my juicy peaches and welcome back to my channel. My name is Priestess Peaches, aka Jackie Lane from yourpeachylife.com. I mostly support ambitious women in long-term relationships with love, pleasure, well-being and business. And as you can see by the title of this video, it's going to be quite a deep one today. And I just want to put out a trigger warning before I get into the video, because I am going to be speaking about things like sexual shame, religious sexual conditioning, and trauma. And so if you're sensitive to that, or if you are likely to be triggered by that, please just have that awareness, and please do look after yourself and protect yourself and do what you need to do to look after yourself and do what's right for you. And I also just want to say that I don't want to put a downer on anybody's beliefs at all. And it may be that you're watching this video and you have completely different beliefs to me, and that's completely fine. And I really welcome everybody's perspective and everybody's beliefs. Please just be kind and considerate and compassionate in the comments to me and anybody else. I just want to put that out there before I get into the video, because this is a sensitive topic and I'm very aware of that. And it's not my intention to be triggering people and upsetting people by speaking about this. I want to share with you the reason I'm doing this video. I was really inspired by a Channel 4 documentary that I saw on YouTube with Yewande Biala. I think that's her name. She is a young woman who was on a reality TV show. I think it might have been Love Island here in the UK. And the documentary was called Why Haven't I Had an Orgasm? The Secrets to Female Orgasm. And it was all about Yewanda's journey from never even really self-pleasuring or touching herself at all, and her journey about why she struggles to orgasm, and her process to becoming more awakened sexually. And this documentary moved me to tears. Yewanda's journey moved me so much, and I felt so inspired to create a video for anybody who is in Yewanda's position. So her story is that she had a lot of sexual shaming and religious sexual shaming when she was a child, from her mother, her family, and her religion, the religion of her family. And this caused her to completely shut down sexually, numb out, feel so much guilt and shame that she wasn't even able to experience any pleasure or orgasm during sexual intimacy with a partner. And she'd never really explored herself sexually by herself. And it really touched my heart to hear her journey, because I know that there are thousands upon thousands of other women who are in the same position as Yewanda. I believe she was 26 when the documentary came out. I don't actually know when the documentary was made. I didn't check that. But to reach the age of 26 and to have never really explored yourself sexually or experienced an orgasm, it just moved me so much. I just want to say, if you have been affected by sexual shame, religious sexual conditioning, and you are struggling with orgasm, you are struggling with pleasure, you experience pain or numbness, or you just don't even go there, I want you to know that you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken. And I just want to say that I have a level of deep empathy and compassion, because even though I wasn't brought up in a religious household or with any particular religion, I did go to a Church of England school, and just through society, I took on a lot of religious fear and shaming around my sexual self. And it's a journey that I've been on as well. And so I have a deep level of awareness of how these things can actually impact you. And that fear that you experience, that is causing you to go into your fight, flight, freeze and fawn response. And that fear is stored within the cells of your body. Those emotions of shame and guilt are stored in the cells of your body and within your yoni. So your yoni is your root chakra and sacral chakra, and that is your vulva, your vagina, your womb space, and the emotions and the conditioning and the beliefs and all of that gets stored within your yoni, literally within the cells, and it can cause a constriction within your yoni, a tensing. It can cause the tissues to lose their suppleness. It can cause blocks to your sexual energy flowing and to your connected nerve pathways. It really is a very genuine biological, biochemical and physical thing when you have trapped trauma in your body because of this kind of conditioning that causes so much fear and lower vibrational emotions in you. Your emotions are not just thoughts, they are feelings and sensations within your body. We've got so much going on in our minds, we have to live our day-to-day lives, and so we adopt different coping strategies and ways of dealing with this trauma, and unfortunately this trauma can get trapped in the cells of our body. And really it's a process of unraveling the trauma on all the levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually even, and obviously sexually, because that's what we're speaking about. You'll find that obviously it all coincides and interlinks and everything is connected anyway, so it's hard to work on just one level. I really want to share some information that I feel will be really useful to anybody who is pleasure starved right now, anybody who is struggling with connecting with their body and with their sexual self, and anybody who is experiencing numbness or pain sexually, and anybody who has never experienced orgasm or experiences limited orgasm. So it's not just for women who are in Yewanda's position, but this is what inspired me to create this video today. So like I said, it's really important to work on all the levels, and a first port of call that I feel could be really beneficial is to start with your mentality, your mindset and your beliefs around sex, around your sexual self, around your yoni, around orgasm, and to really go on a journey of self-inquiry. You can do this with a practitioner, a therapist, a sex therapist, or someone like me who can guide you through a process for that, so that you can really start questioning and getting clear and having awareness about your journey, the beliefs that you've taken on, the aspects of society, of religion, of the culture that you grew up in, all the limiting beliefs and all the conditioning and all the programming and all the things that have been told to you that you've taken on, and also your own authentic journey so far. So having this awareness and starting to question is a really good first place to start, because then you will understand the potential things that may surface when you move into working with your body and working with yourself on a physical level, a sexual level. And you'll have an awareness of the belief systems that you've taken on and your emotions around this. And having that awareness is really, really key, and is going to really support you moving forward into the other practices. I will just say that sometimes you may not gain full perspective and full awareness of everything just through questioning on a psychological and emotional level, because sometimes there are things that you may have blocked and may have suppressed. There may be things that were from so long ago that you haven't got access to them just yet, and it's through going on the physical healing journey and sexual healing journey that these things will start to bubble up and make themselves known when they're ready. And it may be that there are some things that are too challenging to get into just yet. And I just want to say, go as fast as the slowest parts of you. You don't have to push and force and dig around too much, because all the things will surface when they are ready to be witnessed, acknowledged, integrated, healed, released, whatever needs to be done with them, they will bubble up to the surface when you're ready to work with them. And the thing is, it may be true that you may always have things that surface throughout your life, and there may be layers to those things and they may cycle back round for you to work on in a new way with a new perspective. And really, it's a beautiful process. And when you have the tools, when you have the understanding in the tools, you will have the confidence within yourself to be able to navigate those times of sexual healing. And I really feel like sexual healing has been lost in our society, and it's something that we really need to reclaim and that we really need to implement in our lives on a regular basis, because throughout your days, your weeks, your months, we are bombarded with information. There's traumatic things going on in the world. There's things going on in your life. There's a gazillion billion things happening, and it is a lot for a human being to take. And those things are going to be in your body. So if you have a self-healing practice, it can really help you to navigate those things more efficiently, and also help you maintain where you're at and maintain your pleasure and your openness and your sexual empowerment. So like I said, the first port of call would be to start questioning yourself, inquiring, going on a journey of self-inquiry to discover what is your story, what are your beliefs, what are you believing about sex, your sexual self, your yoni and orgasm, and where are these things coming from? Who told you those things? This kind of questioning. And like I say, I think it's really important to always have emotional support, psychological support when you are going on this path, because it is deep and it can bring up a lot just through the questioning. A lot of healing and integration can come just from having these awarenesses. One of the key things that's really, really important for you is to educate yourself. You really need to educate yourself around your anatomy and your anatomy of arousal and the anatomy of orgasm for women. And you want to be educating yourself on how your body works, how orgasm works. Having that education is going to be really useful for you, because you'll know what's going on in your body when things are happening. It will open your mind to what's possible. You'll know how, like, there are skills to certain things, there's techniques to certain things, there's bodily functions, biochemistry at play that is scientific and factual. And then obviously once you start going on the journey, you'll be discovering your own anatomy of arousal. This is just a foundational basis in your anatomy, your reproductive system, your anatomy of arousal, how arousal works within you as a woman, and the anatomy of orgasm and how orgasm works, because there's 63 nerve pathways to orgasm, and orgasm actually happens in your brain. All those pathways lead to your brain. And so having that foundation, that education, is going to be so valuable for when you're moving into the other practices, because you'll have the understanding of what's going on and what to do. And so that's going to really empower you moving forward. Then I feel like it is really important to start establishing a connection with your body without necessarily even touching your body. So I mean just with your awareness, with your imagination, with your focus and attention, with your mind. So this could be things like body scanning, guided meditations, guided visualizations, gratitude meditations for your body. And this is where you are starting to initiate a connection with your body, so that your body knows that you are paying it attention, that you are here for it, that you're listening, and you'll learn to start hearing your body and really listening to what your body is telling you through these kind of practices. You don't even need to touch your body yet to establish that initial connection. And I know it sounds basic and maybe long-winded and like unnecessary, but actually it's that level of awareness that you are going to need throughout all the other practices. Because if you can start becoming aware of your body, listening to your body, tuning into your body, that's going to put you in a brilliant position when you start moving into the more physical practices. So the next piece is moving into physical touch, but this doesn't have to be pleasurable touch. It doesn't have to be sensual touch or sexual touch or sexually gratifying touch. I'm talking about somatic bodywork and somatic experiencing. And this is really a way of being with your body, a way of working through the body, with the body, and having a real deep internal awareness of your body, of yourself, and of your emotions. It's really about consent and permission as well, and gaining a trusting and empowered connection with your body. So somatic body work, it doesn't have to be sexual. It could be something like, I'll just give a demonstration. If I place my hand on my shoulder, how does my shoulder feel having my hand, the warmth or the coolness of my hand on my shoulder? Like, how does that feel to my shoulder, the weight of my hand, the feeling of my hand on my shoulder, so I can tune into my shoulder's perspective, right? I can also tune into my hand's perspective. How does it feel touching my shoulder, this fabric, the warmth of my shoulder, the shape, the contour of my shoulder? And then I can go back into my shoulder, like, does my shoulder feel a relaxation from being touched, or does it feel a tension? And you can really deeply get into your body in this way. And you can also start to ask questions like, how do I feel? How do I feel when I'm touching my shoulder? How do I feel about my hand touching my shoulder, or my shoulder experiencing touch from my hand? So it's a real deep connection with your body where you can start to grow and build a very trusting bond with your body, where it's a slow process where you get to feel into your yeses, your nos, your maybes, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, and you can get a deep perspective of your body from this space. And you can use somatic body work, that philosophy, if you will, and that concept all the way through from then on, moving into the more sensual practices, the more sexual practices. Once you have that foundation of somatic experiencing, that can be something you can take with you into the next phases. You can also work with a somatic therapist to do this. So you don't have to do this on your own if you're unsure. There are people out there, this is their profession and their passion and their life's work, and they can help you through that process. Or again, you can work with someone like me who has somatic awareness and that can guide you through this type of thing. So moving into the next part of the journey, this is really moving into sensitizing your sensuality. So you want to be taking your 5 senses into consideration. So your sight, sound, your smell, your taste, and your touch. And we really want to be resensitizing your body, your sensuality within your body. And again, this doesn't have to be about sexual pleasure. This can just be about your enjoyment of your senses and your enjoyment of your body, and really bringing joy into your body through this experience, through your senses. So our sensuality is really our bridge between us and our reality. It's how we make sense of everything around us, and it's how we are perceiving everything. And so coming to this space of awakening your sensuality and really nourishing your sensuality will start to open up your body to more enjoyable and eventually pleasurable experiences. The next thing that I feel is really important, and I've touched on this, is sexual healing, and learning about sexual healing tools and practices and concepts that can really help you navigate when you're going through these experiences with your body. If there is trauma coming up or difficult emotions coming up, you'll be able to have the tools to help you through that. And also it will help you to move through to the other side of these blocks to bliss, to find that pleasure treasure that is the other side of the challenge, of the block, of the trauma, of the difficult emotions that you're experiencing. So once you've learned about sexual healing and you have that confidence that you can utilize those sexual healing tools and practices, you can then move into sexual touch. This is sexual touch without agenda, without goal, and without performance. So you want to take away the goal of orgasm or any agenda, any preconceived notions about what you should be doing, what you're supposed to be doing. And this is really about self-exploration without any level of performance, just being present with yourself and journeying into touching yourself and exploring yourself sexually, and then moving into sexual pleasure and exploring your pleasure. And from that space, from that embodied space, you can start moving into orgasm. And yes, there are skills and techniques, like I mentioned at the start when I was talking about education, but really it is your own process of self-discovery that is going to help you the most when it comes to orgasm. And you can try out the different skills and techniques, and you can start exploring and experimenting and going on an adventure with yourself into orgasm. It's likely that you will already be experiencing orgasm by this point, because you would have primed your body, you would be feeling confident, you will know the healing tools that you require to move through your blocks to bliss and integrate any trauma, and you'll be in a space of openness to pleasure, and it's likely that you will start to experience orgasm. And from that space, then you can learn how to expand your orgasm, because there's multiple different types of orgasm available to us as women, and we can learn to access each of those types of orgasm and orgasmic states and actually expand those as well within us, so that they last longer, so that we can experience blended orgasms, so we can become multi-orgasmic, fully expressed sexual sovereign beings. Sovereign sexual beings. And so there's some key things that I want to touch on that are really important when you're moving into the sensual sexual space. So the first thing I want to mention is about the heart and breast connection with your yoni. Not only are there nerve pathways and meridian lines connecting your breasts with your yoni, but there are deeper levels of connection between your heart space and your yoni that are so important to your pleasure. Your breasts are so key to experiencing a full body yes to pleasure, and they are really useful in completely opening up your yoni to expansive pleasure and expansive orgasm. And so in tantric traditions, Eastern traditions like Tantra and Taoism, the breast space, the heart space, is a positive magnetic pole, and the yoni is a negative magnetic pole. It's said that we can grow and build the sexual energy in the positive, and it overflows to the negative. And once you get into practicing these things, such as breast massage and various other practices to connect your heart space with your yoni, you will start to realize how important your breasts are and your heart space is with your arousal, with your orgasm, with your pleasure. So I just wanted to mention the breast yoni connection, the heart yoni connection there. Your accelerators and your brakes. So Emily Nagoski, I believe that's her name, she wrote a book, Come As You Are, and she speaks about your accelerators and brakes, because she's not a fan of the term like libido, your sex drive. It's all about accelerators and brakes, the things that turn you on, the things that light you up, the things that open you up, and the things that shut you down. Because there's no point stepping on the accelerators if you're fully stepped on the brakes as well, because you're still not going to get anywhere. It's about learning what these things are for you so that you can become masterful with your arousal and your turn on, and you can become very self-responsible for your sexual desire and turn on and arousal and pleasure. The next thing I want to mention is about suppleness, dexterity, and tone within your yoni. These are the 3 keys to pleasure. You require both tone and suppleness. You don't want to be tense within your yoni. You need suppleness of the tissues. Just like any other muscles that you're working within your body, if you over exercise them, they become tense, they lose mobility, and then it actually causes muscle weakness over time. And so you need to be creating suppleness as well as tone. And the amazing thing about our yonis is that they are dexterous, like your fingers. So you can isolate muscles. And again, this is another way you can become more responsible for your pleasure and your experience of orgasm as well. One of the most important things that I want to mention is about allowing what is emotionally. You want to allow your emotions to bubble up and out if you can access them. Sometimes they might come up to a certain degree, but then you're not ready to go there because it can be quite scary sometimes. But we have this idea that self-pleasure has to look a certain way, and that sex has to look a certain way, and that you're not meant to cry, you're not meant to feel angry or have any negative emotion. It's supposed to be this like incredibly pleasurable thing all the time. But sometimes things come up to the surface, and if you block that emotion, then you're suppressing that within your body again. You're suppressing that emotion, and it's going to be stuck within you. And you, by allowing yourself to let it out, if you can go there, to let it out, let yourself cry, let yourself acknowledge that you feel angry, or you have grief, or you feel betrayed, whatever the things are. Really let yourself go there and experience them, and let it out. If you need to sound, if you need to cry, if you need to punch a pillow, whatever it is, it's really important to let yourself feel what you feel, to allow what is there to be expressed, because your emotions need a witness. Your emotions want to be acknowledged, and when you acknowledge them and also express them, then they're no longer stuck in you. They're no longer preventing you from experiencing what is beyond those emotions, which is your natural state of being, which is bliss, pleasure, joy, and all the juicy things that we're speaking about. So like I mentioned, you may have trauma and tension and stress stuck within your yoni. It's likely you do. We all do if we don't have regular practices to help release that within our yonis. And so it's important to work on that physical level of tension release, trauma release, stagnated, stuck energies. So there's the pillars of Tantra, which are breath, sound, movement, meditation. So you want to be using your breath. There's specific breathing techniques you can use, ways of breathing throughout your practices and your time with yourself that can really help you to stay present in your body, that can help you to release things, that can help you to keep the energies moving. Sound is another one, and I'm talking about you making sounds, movement, and this also includes stillness. Personally, for me, I require stillness, times of stillness and rest within the sexual space for the energy to build again, or for the orgasm to flow. It will only flow because I come into a stillness space. And so often we are taught that sex is all about stimulation and friction and fast and exciting. But actually, that's not always the best space to be in when you are on a healing journey, when you are sensitive, when you have trauma, when you are needing to be slow and present with yourself, or when you want to experience the deeper orgasmic states available. You're unlikely to get there through the fast and hard approach. And so, yeah, it's really important to have those moments of stillness. And the other pillar that I've added to the pillars is imagination. And I don't mean fantasy, I don't mean going off into fantasy. I mean imagination, utilizing your imagination with what is present in the now. And so you may want to imagine your sexual energy flowing, like if you can start to feel it, and sometimes your imagination will help you feel it. There's other ways of using your imagination within the present moment as well that can really support your experience, not going off into fantasy to try and get yourself off and push yourself to the end goal. It's about really utilizing your visualization abilities, your imagination abilities, and your feeling and sense space in the present moment with what is actually happening. I've spoken about relaxed arousal. You want to be, so you've got your autonomic nervous system and you've got your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. Your sympathetic is your fight, flight, freeze and fawn response. That's your stress hormones. And then you've got your rest and digest parasympathetic space. And you want to be more going into your rest and digest space so that your body feels safe and so that you're not in this heightened state. So a lot of the time when people are speaking about orgasm, we think of tension, we think of excitement. And this is really about coming into relaxed arousal. It's about staying warm and cool and warm, but not too hot, and learning how to balance that, learning how to ride that wave so that you're staying in that relaxed space. And like I said, the pillars of Tantra can really help with that so that your nervous system isn't overstimulated and going into danger zone and tensing you up. So you want to be learning how to come into relaxed arousal so you can flow into orgasmic bliss more easily and effortlessly, and in a way that's not going to re-traumatize you. So there's a few more things I want to touch on. There's your arousal style. So this is whether you have spontaneous arousal, responsive arousal, contextual arousal, or a mixture of all three, or one or the other, depending on the circumstance. So yeah, there's the three types of arousal, and learning that you're completely normal. There's nothing wrong with you if you don't have spontaneous desire, spontaneous arousal. If you're more on the responsive side. For women, it's, I think, pretty much like 80% of women are more responsive arousal, responsive desire than spontaneous. And that's not to say that if you're spontaneous that that's bad or wrong or anything, not at all. It's just getting to know yourself so that you can so that you can explore yourself and play with yourself in a way that's going to be really nourishing for yourself and really uplifting and not causing you a sense of pressure, because we want to try and eliminate this pressure that we are all taught when it comes to sexual play and sexual pleasure. So then we've got the erotic styles. A woman named Miss Jaya, she was on Love, Sex and Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow on Netflix. She speaks about erotic blueprints. I always thought of this as your erotic style, and she has the 5 erotic blueprints, and it's really useful to understand what percentage of what blueprint you have, and you can start working with these erotic styles to become fully expressed and to really start nourishing each one, but having an awareness of which is your predominant blueprint, your erotic style, which one is your least erotic style. This can really help with when you are with a partner as well, because like honoring each other's erotic styles so that you can create compatibility is really, really important. And last but definitely not least, because this is really what I feel is the most important thing, because it's the overarching theme of everything, and that is learning about the masculine and feminine energy dynamic within sex and sexual play. And this is really comes into everything that I've spoken about, and this is something that I teach. My phone is running out of space, so I'm going to end this video now, as I know it's quite a long one and this was quite a lot of information. I hope that you found it useful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and I'm going to leave the links in the description box to my course, Awaken Your Pleasure. This course is for exactly this. It takes a woman from any kind of sexual shutdown through the process that I've been speaking about, through the process of initiating connection with your body, somatic body work, resensitizing your sensuality, moving into sexual healing, and then sexual pleasure touch, and then moving into orgasm and expanding your orgasm, as well as educating you along the way about all the things you need to know to become truly sexually empowered and expressed. So this course has got guided audio practices, at least three guided audio practices each week, some demo videos of the practices. It's got written exercises for you to dig deep around your own personal integration of the information and what that all means for you personally. It's a really comprehensive course for any woman who is experiencing any kind of sexual shutdown. I've taken all the information that I've come across, my own healing journey, and I have infused it all into one course that is a specific process to help women go from sexual shutdown to fully sexually expressed. So if that's of interest, then the link is in the description. I also offer one-to-one support with all of my online courses. And so if that's something that you are looking for, if you feel like you need that high touch, deeper level of support, and you'd rather go through that with somebody that can like guide you through the process and talk with you every week whilst you go through the process, then I will leave the link in the description to apply to work with me one-to-one as well. I hope you found this video useful and this information useful. I really just wanted to be able to direct women and put them on the right path and just let you know the things that I feel are important to work with and work on and to include in your journey, so that you're just not throwing yourself in the deep end and expecting yourself to run before you can walk. So I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I'm here for you. You're not alone if you are going through anything like this, and please just know that, yeah, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There are ways that you can work with yourself to become sexually empowered and sexually expressed and to experience your full pleasure and orgasmic potential. So I'm going to leave it there. Have an amazing day, and as always, remember to keep it juicy. Bye.